mid-cap pharmaceutical stocks. Rajesh Jain of Panacea Biotec joins in to talk about what's been happening with business. Rajesh, morning. Can you first explain this advance market commitment pact that you've signed and what it means for Panacea by way of a revenue impact?
This is a bid that UNICEF had brought out as a request for proposal last year, somewhere around September. And according to this bid, it's a 10-year contract they want to enter with any company which is willing any time between 2010 to 2014. And the maximum tenure of the contract is up to 2025, in which they want to actually procure a pneumococcal vaccine, conjugated pneumococcal vaccine for children less than 5 years of age across the developing world. And this being a 10-year contract, depending upon when you really enter up to 2025, this is going to be a huge opportunity in terms of top and bottom lines for Panacea Biotech. We have already actually registered ourselves with UNICEF as a registered AMC company, which would be now in touch with them to arrive at a consensus on the target product profile by next year. And then make sure that, before the phase 3 trials begin somewhere around 2012, we take their scientific advice and then go on to complete and register with them a advanced market commitment.
Rajesh, morning. Just to understand how exactly this will work, will you supply to UNICEF directly or will you supply to Pfizer and GSK who signed a 10-year deal? What would be the nature of the alliance and the supply contract with Panacea Biotech?
Okay. According to the this entire bidding process is being led by UNICEF on behalf of Gavi, and therefore we will be supplying and entering into contracts with UNICEF. Ours is an independent contract similar to what Pfizer and Glaxo has entered. So we will be a third supplier to UNICEF, an additional supplier, and we will have our own independent 10-year contract with UNICEF. And we will be supplying to all the developing countries that UNICEF, as part of the whole contract, will allocate to us as part of the whole advanced market commitment as a long-term contract.
Sure. We understand that the deal with Pfizer and GSK with UNICEF is for 60 million doses of the pneumococcal vaccine that you spoke about. What is the specific nature of the deal that UNICEF has with Panacea? Because it is quantified in the case of Pfizer and GSK.
Yeah, Pfizer and GSK actually were the first movers in this case, and therefore they had the advantage of developing this product prior to Panacea Biotech, and therefore they ended up signing this contract in 2010. We are going to be a follow-on contractor with UNICEF, and we expect that within the next 2 years we should be able to arrive at the target product profile that they have, agree with the whole product development program, and thereafter enter into a contract with them. This is Nucovac, which is the brand name of this particular vaccine that we are going to offer to them, is 100% developed by Panacea Biotech through our R&D efforts, and we expect that in the next 2 years we should be able to have those clarities in terms of the quantities that we want to supply to them and the quantities that they would want to buy from us.
But there has been no indicative size of doses that UNICEF would require from Panacea, Rajesh?
Okay, the demand of UNICEF is quite large. It could range from 150 million doses to something around 250 million doses. And largely, the major piece of the demand is still uncovered. And therefore, they are looking at more suppliers like Panacea Biotech to come forward and then, try and see what capacities Panacea can offer to them and in the time zone that they are looking at. So obviously, all the balanced quantity that still remains uncovered would be the size that we shall be looking forward to, depending upon how do we progress in the next 2 years. So it's going to be quite a large market size that would still be available to us despite the, yeah.
Sure. No, just wanted to know what kind of pricing it's been locked in at, Rajesh, because just to go back to the Pfizer-GSK deal, apparently the first 20% will be at $7 per dose, and that will drop to about $3.5. Have you been given any indicative pricing here?
Yes, it's a very, very innovative scheme that they have come out with, in which they will be giving us for the first 20%. The business terms are going to be the same, irrespective of who the company is. So we will be also getting the same business terms, that is 20% of that $7 will be given ahead in the first few years, and then as the contract moves for the balance shelf life of the contract, it will be a fixed price of $3.5 per dose. So the business terms are likely to be the same as being offered to Glaxo or Pfizer for that matter.
How much of this remaining order or dose size does Panacea Biotec plan to or aim to garner? Because 60 million is covered by the two companies, Pfizer and GSK. That still remains potentially a gap of 100 to 150 million doses. Are there other players in the fray? Could Panacea hope to garner maybe even 20 to 40 million doses of this remaining order size?
We are looking at, a very large size in this. However, it would be unfair at this stage to make any comments without having prior, discussed with UNICEF and all. However, let me tell you this, that people who have registered with them will obviously be at an advantage, because we will be the ones who are, in terms of the product development, much faster and ahead of others. Until unless you have reached a particular stage, you will not be able to even, register with them. So we having registered last year with them, obviously have an advantage over others who would want to join if at all they decide to join, and therefore we will complete our product development cycles, enabling us to enter contracts with them, which means that the balance quantity, as you rightly said, which remains as of now unallocated and unawarded, we will have first preference over the capacity that we will bring on the table at that point in time, and therefore will be an advantage in getting that market share.
If all goes well, Rajesh, by when will supply start to UNICEF from Panacea?
I think anything around 2013, 2014 onwards, we look at completing the whole process with UNICEF, including WHO pre-qualification, and thereafter the supplies can begin.
You've signed a similar advance market commitment pact with the Government of India as well, Rajesh, for the H1N1 vaccine. How large is that in terms of, million doses, and what kind of pricing has that come attendant with for you?
It's a very, when we talk of pandiflu or pandemic H1N1 vaccine that we signed the AMC with, I think the government is looking at very large numbers, and however, they are just waiting for the Drug Controller India to finally give the go-ahead either in April this year or in July, by the time we finish our full phase 3 trials. We will be submitting to the DCGI our application that we have, part of the clinical trials that we have already finished for phase 1 and 2 this week. And based on that, the DCGI can then advise whether he would want to wait for the end of the phase 3 trials until July, or does he want the government to start stockpiling. The moment he clears that, then the government will start getting down into the numbers, and possibly we expect that it could be either anything in the range of 40 to 50 million doses as a minimum contract that all the Indian manufacturers would be looking at from them.
Good speaking with you, Rajesh. We wish you luck. That's Panacea Biotec has moved a bit higher since the interview, 4% up on that one. So two interesting deals cut for them, one with the Government of India and one with UNICEF.